Hello, my name is Nicholas de Paiva, and I'm an ecumenical preacher. And actually, this video is my first one in this type of format, which is more like a vlog, even though the camera is stopped and I'm not walking. I am in the living room of my mother's house, and I'm here to introduce myself and also to explain to you what motivates me and what makes me want to be an ecumenical preacher. And I believe that we all have our origin story, and I want to share that with you. That's why I'm also putting this video as the one that is right uh, when you go to my YouTube channel, is right there for you to see it as the first video and then get a feeling of what I am doing here, what I'm trying to do here. So, um, to begin my story, I actually have to tell my grandfather's story, and it connects with two items that I ended up receiving from him. There are others which he gifted me also, but those two, they are very important and they represent almost like my entire reason to not only be doing this but also to be preaching. So yeah, let me just get it. It's right here. I'm just gonna put the microphone here, and then I'm gonna get there. Yeah, it is a book and a pen, and I'm gonna explain to you their connection. Well, this book here is not the first book that my grandfather wrote, but is one of the first ones. So he is here through this book breaking down the symbolisms that we find in the last book of the Holy Bible. And he is working to explain to us in a very simple way for us to see its practices in our daily lives. So much so that this book here, it was kind of a prototype for his collection, because later on he would have a lot of other books that are part of a collection called The Apocalypse of Jesus for the Simple Hearted. He then started writing it other volumes that are now part of this collection, and we still have other books that are going to be published. But this book here that I have in my hands, it has a connection with me because of his dedication to me. And I'm going to show you and then explain also my grandfather's story so you can have an overall about everything that is going on. So, come here just a second. Uh, I think I'm not getting a good shot here, but show you the book and his dedication. As I said, it is entitled The Prophecies Without Mystery. And this is my grandfather dedication. This is him. That's my grandfather. Brother Paiva, as we call. I call him grandfather. Well, as you see here, he wrote on May 2nd, 1998, on a Saturday. And he put it to my caring grandson, Nicholas Beck de Paiva, with a kiss of your grandfather Paiva. And here's a picture of Jesus. And this is the book. Yeah. This is the book that started to set my spiritual path to become an ecumenical preacher. Yeah. And yeah, so that is why here. And as you saw, it is from 1998, just for you to understand this, I was born in 1994. So I was almost 4 years old when he gave me this book. And it was kind of like spiritually setting my path as an ecumenical preacher and my will to talk about Jesus and his teachings and everything that I find in the gospel and the book of Revelation. And also, because as I said, my grandfather, he is our patriarch. And I believe that everyone has it, their patriarch or their matriarch, that is their grandfather or grandmother or great grandfather or great grandmother that started a movement in their own family and set the path of that family. So you're going to have families that have most of their kids to become doctors or lawyers or uh, preachers, also priests, pastors, and not only professions, but also objectives, like a family that has a certain objective and then they give that to other generations of their families so that they can also work for it, like a vision in a company, right? When you write it and then you set the future of that company, just like that, in a way that it's preparing the family to accomplish or achieve a certain objective. And the same goes with my grandfather. He is the patriarch of my family. He's the one that put my family in the ecumenical movement that we are now in and that we dedicate ourselves to, and even try in our best, even though we are imperfect human beings, but we are trying at our best to make this a better place and to spread the vision and perception of Jesus that he brought to all of us. So my grandfather, his story is very interesting because when he was only 15 years old, he listened to the late brother Alziro Zarur voice in the radio. And after he listened to it, he felt a fire in his spirit, the calling to fulfill a mission, to dedicate his life to Christ. And it was so strong that he got up and talked to my great grandmother and said, "Mother, it is with him that I'm going." So he started following the late brother Alziro Zarur. They became closest friends. He was nominated his successor. And after Brother Zarur passed away and went back to the spiritual world in October 21st, 1979, my grandfather took the responsibility to spread his preachings and his teachings and bring forth this vision of an ecumenical Christ to the world. And I'm saying that because Brothers Aluru started this ecumenical movement called Legion of Goodwill in 1950, January 1st. And later on, he proclaimed what would become my church, that is the religion of God, of the Christ, and of the Holy Spirit. And he proclaimed on October 7th, 1973. It is a rich story. You be sure of it. And I am even leaving the down below a link for you to read it and see how rich is this story. But my grandfather was the responsible one to officialize and materialize the church and bring forth all its actions and works here in this world, all with its supreme objective to prepare the pathways for Christ's triumphant return. So he worked for this spiritual vision where we are all making this world a better place and preparing the pathways so that Jesus can return to this world and not see everything destroyed, but at least with some workings going on and some things done so he can take from it and move forward with humanity. Because we have to think also about that. What will happen when he returns? Because the world will still be here, and Christ will write a whole new story with humanity, and we need to be ready for it. And with that perspective and that vision, my grandfather, he took from what he learned from late brother Alzelo Zarur, and then he expanded it. He preached about the symbolisms of the book of Revelation of Jesus, how it can be put in practice in our daily lives. I told you his collection, Apocalypse of Jesus for the Simple Hearted. So he had this perception and vision of bringing the teachings of Christ in a way that everyone could understand and practice in their lives. So he preached about the gospel of Jesus as well, and everything that we find in the Holy Bible that connects its symbols with the book of Revelation. In my church, we begin understanding the Bible through the last book of the Holy Bible. It is a unique perception, a unique vision, because from there we understand the ecumenical movement that Christ is bringing, and that is this workings to defend this ecumenism that Christ brings to everyone, because Christ brings universal teachings for everyone. So that is what was put in our spirits, and it connects with my family because, as I said, my grandfather is the patriarch of my family. And he brought all of us to this perception, to this vision of preaching about Jesus in a universal way so that everyone could feel his presence and see him in their lives. It is a unique way of seeing Christ because I remember that our spiritual friend, Golden Arrow, and we believe that we have a direct connection with this spiritual world. That is the place where our guardian angels, our spiritual friends, our spiritual guides, whatever the name that you want to give, they are here. They exist. They are around us. They are guiding us. They are giving us intuition. So uh, a spiritual friend in common that participates in our church, he told me once that his name is Golden Arrow. He told me once to never forget the Jesus that my grandfather preaches about. And it is remarkable. It is remarkable. Now, it's not only because he's my grandfather, but because of the experience that he gives us. And I'm saying that thinking on everything that I saw, that I observed in his life. He really showed to my family, and I would say for me, what I perceive, this living faith where he would act with strong belief, knowing that Christ would act in his life and is acting in his life and is working with him. So he would gives us this sense of respecting Jesus as we should, because he is the divine master. He is the one that carries God's wisdom and that gives it to us. But that's the key. He gives that to us. He is not holding it for himself and subjugating us. No, he is giving us that authority as well to make us rise and walk in the path with him towards God, to be with God just like he is with God. And it is a personal relationship in a way that we can talk to him, that we can pray to him and for him as well. And for his divine plans so that they can be accomplished here in this world. And I was very fortunate to be part of his life, my grandfather's life, and participate in moments where he was writing his books and he was preaching the gospel in the book of Revelation, when he was bringing his ecumenical message in the congress and events that my church makes, and also on leading all the souls, all the hearts towards Christ, towards the one and only shepherd of an ecumenical flock. And I was very fortunate because I learned a lot from him, a lot. And I was there since I was little. He was always uh, pulling me close to him and giving me the opportunity to see what he was doing, to be part of it, to learn from him and get this experience. And that happened in my life. So this is the first reason, and I could say that it is a inheritance in my family to be preaching and talking about Christ in this world and bringing His vision of an ecumenical Jesus to everyone, so that we can all perceive that we can work for Christ, we can help Christ wherever we are, whatever area that we are working on, we can make this a better world, a better place.
But nowadays is even more special because my grandfather, he went back to the spiritual world on October 7, 2025. Well, my grandfather, it is a great example for me and to me as an apostle and disciple of Jesus because he lived Jesus' teachings up to the very end of his material life. Because now he's more alive than ever in the spiritual world, and I believe that he's now close to Jesus, working for Christ in this world and helping us from the spiritual world. But I'm saying that because he went back to the spiritual world on October 7th, and this is the date of the proclamation of my church, the religion of God, of the Christ, and of the Holy Spirit. Remember that I said. So it is to show his friendship, his love, his devotion, his dedication to what he believed and he believes that is necessary in this world. And the hour also, because he went back at 1 a.m. and 33 minutes. And if you read the Bible, if you study the book of Revelation, the Gospel, with the Old Testament, you notice and you are already familiar with the idea of numerology, that is the study of numbers and its meanings, and the Bible loves to do that. And we also have through science, math, which it is the study of numbers and its applications in the world. So we already know and have this certainty that you can, from numbers and studying them, materialize objects, ideas, principles in this world. So the numbers, right? 1:33 a.m. When we sum that equals 7. And 7 in the book of Revelation and in the Bible, it is the number of Jesus, is the number of his perfection, of the begotten Son of God. So you see, on October 7th at 1:33 a.m., which equals 7, my grandfather went back to the spiritual world to be with Christ. That for me, as a sign, as a spiritual sign, and I'm talking here as a personal experience, it is to show his love and his devotion to Jesus. And that's the life that I want to have. That's the life that I want to dedicate myself to.
This is the first reason. The second reason, and it also involves this pen here, it is a very special one for me because it was from my grandfather, and I had the opportunity to have this in my life. And now I feel that I can continue writing and talking about Jesus as I learned from my grandfather. Now, this starts the second reason that I became an ecumenical preacher. It is actually a feeling that I always had when I was little. And we talk about that a lot, right? When we were little, we always had that feeling of what we would become, right? Oh, I want to become a doctor. Oh, I want to become a lawyer. Or, oh, I want to become a painter. Or I want to draw. And we always had that feeling in our hearts. And it's not something that people would tell us to do, even though they could help us and um, give us the incentives to continue on this path, but it was something that know, and actually we knew, and we know in our hearts that we have to accomplish. The same goes with me and my relationship with Jesus. I'm very fond, actually, with an answer of Carl Jung, the psychoanalyst, who, when he was asked if he believed in God, he answered, I know. And the same goes with me. I know that Jesus is Christ. And I have this feeling in my heart where nothing can change it. Because I know that He is the begotten Son of God, that His teachings are true, and that what He brings to us change our lives in ways that we never expected to. And this willingness to talk about it, to write about it, to share this vision, it all comes back to this. That is to put what is inside of me, what is in my heart, what is in my mind, what is in my spirit outside, materialize it through writings, through preaching, through talkings, conversations, whatever the way is just put outside, to put out there, to bring this vision of Christ that I received from my grandfather. So, yeah, that those two are my reasons to become an ecumenical preacher and have this willingness to talk about Jesus, and not any Jesus, but one that carries God's wisdom and is willing to share it with us as our beloved friend, as the one that walks with us on this path to be with God, or in this path to be with God. You know, it is hard for me, and I sometimes don't remember which one to use. But you get it, right? So I hope that after this long video that I believe already reached 30 minutes, because I love to talk, especially when it is about Jesus and my grandfather as well. Well, as I said, I'm biased on that, but we have to talk about the ones that shaped our lives and the ones that we love. And those two are the ones that they shaped my life and the ones that I love the most. And I hope that after all that, you felt also the urge and the need to do something in this world for Christ, for God, and make it a better place. Because that's what Jesus expects from us, to spread His love and talk about His workings in our lives. I hope that you have a great day. God is present. Jesus lives in our hearts forever.